Miles College is the only four-year HBCU nestled in the vibrant Birmingham metropolitan community. For 125 years, our institution has been more than a mere college. It's a cherished, extended family and a steadfast pillar within our community. We offer a holistic educational experience that fosters growth across all facets of life. Join our esteemed Golden Bear family. Let's shape a brighter future for individuals, families, and society at large. Miles College is the only four-year HBCU nestled in the vibrant Birmingham metropolitan community. For 125 years, our institution has been more than a mere college. It's a cherished, extended family and a steadfast pillar within our community. We offer a holistic educational experience that fosters growth across all facets of life. Join our esteemed Golden Bear family. Let's shape a brighter future for individuals, families, and society at large.
Here I am.
Okay.
Here I go. Good evening, everybody, man. Welcome to Real Talk with Mike Steele. I'm back in the building. Y'all know how I do it, man. I bring y'all some of the most interesting people around the planet. And this one here is near and dear to me because I happen to graduate from this institution. And I have the president, Madam Knight, with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Mike. How are you?
Man, I am doing well, other than the fact that it's hot.
Yeah.
It is too hot in Alabama.
It's hot.
but I'm doing well, man. And I am so happy to have you on. And it's a blessing to have you on, Madam President.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, hey, just get the ball rolling. Y'all know how I do it. I asked this one question, man, one question only, and I'm asking it to the president of the university tonight, of the college, Miles College, my college. In one word, Miss Madam Bobbie Knight, in one word, who is Bobbie Knight?
One word.
One word. That's all you got. One word.
Relentless.
Oh, man. Golly.
That's
That
my
is
word.
a good one. That is a good relentless.
Yeah.
Man. Can I ask why?
Because I don't give up.
That you know what? That's what I thought. Just go get her. She's a go-getter. We are on the phone with a go-getter in the building, in the studio, online, virtually. Madam Bobbie Knight. Y'all give her a big warm of applause. Right now, let's go. I don't think I like that when I do it again. Like, you know, got to do it right. Everybody put your hands together. Madam Knight, man, it's a blessing to have you. Like I said before, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're in good spirit, good health. I'm glad that we all are in good spirit and good health today.
Yeah.
You know, when I was, so you came along, Miles College, in 2018, is that correct?
19.
Okay.
2019, yeah.
And that's funny because I was just moving back to Florida. I mean, moving back to Alabama from Florida during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's during the COVID started to birth itself along during that time. Yeah. So, and when you popped on the scene, you know, President French, he left. You popped on the scene. I'm like, whoa.
Who is this?
Yeah. I'm like, who is this? You know, and I'm not gonna go on. I'm not gonna speak publicly of what Dr. French called me, man. But I think it's a man violation. I'm light skinned a little bit, like, you know, but you know, I'm like, President French, come on, man. You know me. I've known you forever now. You know my name. But anyway, it's glad to have you. So I just want to come back, take a step back, and just start covering you from what I like to do is kind of paint a picture for the people that may not know who you are. Many people do. Outside of Birmingham, outside of Alabama, outside of Georgia, outside of whatever, just for the people that may not know who you are. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Birmingham in a little community called Zion City,
Zion
which
City.
Zion City, it's nestled between, a lot of it's gone now because the airport took it, a lot of the houses there, but it's nestled sort of between Roebuck, Eastlake, and Tarrant. So
Okay.
it's a little community where most people knew each other, and um, my whole childhood was spent in that neighborhood
Oh, so the whole
until I
child.
went to college. Yeah.
Okay. So high school you attended. I
Banks
mean,
High
this for me
School.
too. Huh?
Banks High School.
Okay, you went to Banks. Okay. My wife went she went to Banks for a little bit too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she went way after me. So I went to Banks. I started Banks in 1970, which was the first year of forced busing, and so I had no choice. Um, but I don't regret it. I actually made some lifelong friends in high
Yes,
school,
ma'am.
and that I wouldn't have known had I not gone there. But yeah, it was the first year of forced busing.
Okay. So
Hmm?
my mom and dad, I'm talking about mom and dad. You live with mom and dad or mom growing
I
up?
did. Well,
Okay.
so I'm the youngest of five,
Okay.
and my oldest, when I was a year old, my oldest brother left to go to Tuskegee. So there was this big age gap
Shame on
between
him.
us. But yeah, I know, right? Um, and then from there, he went on to the Air Force. So I really didn't grow up with him. I grew up in the house with my other three siblings, but
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
the baby, and grew up
Oh,
with
you was a spoiled one. You
well, I
got it.
don't say I was so much spoiled as I was given liberties that maybe some of the others didn't have,
I know
since
that's
I
right.
was the last and the best. But
Yes. Oh God. You gonna be in some big trouble now.
I know, right?
The last and the best. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So you had 5 siblings, one
Or there were
left
five
one.
of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was just catching myself back up. 5 siblings, your brother went off to the Air Force, and it was you and your other siblings at home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so two older brothers, my sister, and then me. And my parents were working class people,
Yes, ma'am.
very fine people who worked hard. But my dad died when I was 14, so I spent most of my life with my mother, who
Yes,
was
ma'am.
amazing. And so I didn't have the length of time with my father as the
Yes.
other siblings did, but I think my mother made up for it.
Yeah. You were the last one anyway.
Yeah.
She definitely made up for it.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. But I'm sorry to hear about your pops, your
Mhm.
father. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm gonna do okay. If you mind, I'll do a moment of silence for your dad. I know he's gone
Thank
for a
you.
while now. But
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. So mom and dad, you high school. Let's start middle school. Middle school, well, high school. You already said you went to Banks. How was your grades at Banks? I know you had good grades.
I did. I did have good grades. They were pretty good. I um I was I love to read. I grew up reading and developed a love for the written word and the spoken word. But I I love to write, and that's why I try to encourage young people, especially children, to read a lot, because that's how you develop your writing skills, by reading. But anyway, I was a very good writer. I was in Quill and Scroll Journalism Honor Society, so I was a little bit nerdy, um, but a good student. But I think I was kind of fun to
Yeah.
be around. Yeah,
Okay. You think, but a little bit nerdy.
a little bit nerdy. Yeah. I
Have
wore
you?
glasses, and
The whole night.
and I read a lot, and I went to the bookmobile and read books, and instead
The
of running around
bookmobile.
playing, yeah, they
They
had
bringing that
bookmobile in
back
our
now
neighborhood.
in some parts of. They have that again. I think they lost it along the way, but they
It
bringing it
did.
back. Yeah,
Yeah, I hope so.
yeah, they bringing
I
it back.
hope that we have it, but I hope so.
Yes, yeah, I remember the bookmobile.
Good.
Now, yeah. Did you um do any spoken words as an adult? I mean, well, as a child too.
I did a couple of pageants when I was younger, and I actually recited a poem by Nikki Giovanni in a pageant when I was either 15 or 16.
Hmm.
Maybe I was 16, and I won. I won the pageant.
Whoa, that's
Yeah, I
that's
did
all.
Ego Tripping by Nikki Giovanni.
Ego tripping. Yeah, I
Uh-huh,
know
you
that.
remember
Yeah,
that?
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I was going to ask you, did you do any talent shows or anything like that? And you brought it
That
right on
that's
up.
that's the only one I did. Now, when I was in college, I was a member of the speech choir, and it's kind of like what do they call it now? Um, when people go to a venue and they recite poetry.
A spoken word venue.
Spoken word.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that's,
so
yeah.
what we did in the speech choir is there were several of us and we had parts. So if we did a poem by if we did ego tripping as the speech choir, everybody would have a different part, and then some parts of it you would do together. So
Oh,
it was,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I posted a poem on my I think I did a couple of weeks ago
Hmm.
where something was of that nature. Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I
Yeah.
mean, so did you play any sports?
No, I was a nerd.
No, but never play sports.
I really did not.
You,
Okay, let me back up. I did play softball,
okay.
but I did not play. I didn't play on any team back then. You know, you were required. We were required to take PE,
Oh
so
yeah.
we had to do track. We had to do volleyball. We had to do square dancing, which was really weird because now it's line dancing. But we had to do, and we did play softball. So you know, we did those types of things. I primarily
But it
did
wasn't
them.
organized. It was just some for recreational thing. Yeah,
No, you had to do it.
you had to do it.
You had to go and dress out in gym, and you had to do all these things,
Okay.
climb ropes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was never, athletics was never something I was interested in participating in. However, when I started working at Alabama Power Company, I did play on the company softball league.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Yes, we are. we, we,
I
we,
did do that, and I used to weight lift, by the way.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That,
You know, you're finding out things about me right here that nobody else knows. I don't really talk because nobody asks you these kinds of questions. So
but I do. That's the
yeah.
purpose of me. That's what I do. I like
Hmm.
that because I just like. I mean, it's just a picture, man. Get to know people from you know
Yeah.
outside of who they are in the everyday realm of what they do.
Yeah.
You know, uh, and then you could disclose how much you want to. I'm not pressing or probing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Just giving you
Sure.
opportunity, to just kind of talk freely about what you do and who you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. So after high school, so you went to Banks and you, you finished Banks.
Finish bank.
Obviously, you had a 4.0 GPA,
No,
6.0.
no, I really did. But I chose the University of Alabama to go to school, and actually I talked about this like a week or so ago because I just got this award from the University of Alabama from the Malone Society, which is the African American Alumni Association,
Mm,
and it's part of the National Alumni Association at Alabama. But the
okay.
Malone Society was named for Vivian Malone Jones, who obviously, you know, was uh, stopped by George Wallace at the schoolhouse door from entering the University of Alabama. So, but I talked about the fact that I wanted to major in communications, and I
Yes,
did.
ma'am.
And I knew that at the time, the University of Alabama had a really, really great communication school, but that also my oldest brother had come back to Alabama. The Air Force sent him to get his MBA, and he went to University of Alabama. And so he encouraged me and my mom to let me come down there because he was there and he could look out for me, I guess. Um, and then, or stay in my business, either one.
That's
But
what it was. That's what it
yeah,
was, big bro.
and you know what? It really worked because we got very close and became. I got to know him more as an adult because I didn't grow up in the house with
That's
him.
right. That's what I was going to
Yeah,
talk about. But go ahead, you there?
I did. I got to know him as an adult, and we became lifelong friends. He was one of my closest friends and confidants, and we lost him in August of last year. So yesterday was his birthday.
Oh
And it's
man,
the first birthday that didn't have an opportunity to talk to him on the phone for his birthday. But he was a great, great guy, a great intellect, but everybody loved him. He was an awesome guy.
sound like he was an awesome
Yeah, it
person.
was really great. But anyway, he talked me into coming, but also my guidance counselor at Banks discouraged me from going to the University of Alabama for whatever reason. So that was
No,
not, that made me want to go even more. So that's where I went. And
you don't have to answer this, but what kind of what I mean, what was the discouragement? I mean, like, if you don't mind, I mean, like, you are a 17-year-old girl at
mhm.
that time with your eyes on Alabama. What was the
Well, remember
discouragement?
now, this was back in 1974.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
And
say less.
things were different.
Yeah.
And it's well, the more things change, the more they stay the same because it's like we've turned the clock back right now.
Yes, ma'am.
But things were different, and she did not. Well, I don't know what her reasons were, but she did not encourage me. In fact, suggested I not go there.
That's crazy.
Hmm. I thought so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you young, you're an impressionable at some point, but also grounded by mom and dad and their values and their morals and the ones that you gain along the way. But you know, you can't say much because we're talking about 1974.
We're talking about 1974.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much we want to disagree with it, it's just
It
what it
is
is.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just what it is. So, you graduate, you're in Alabama. I was going to ask you. So now we had this guidance counselor maybe trying to, and I don't want to focus on this on that,
Mhm.
on this, but, and I'm not going to focus on it. So why did you choose Alabama? Because that was going to be one of my questions that I was going to ask you.
Hmm.
You
It was
chose Alabama
primarily because of the communication school and because my brother was
and
there.
your brother. Okay.
And
Just,
yeah, and I have no regrets because I did get a chance to know him on a different level and almost level the playing field between us because he began to see me as a young adult.
okay.
Um, so that was good.
And man, I know he must be proud of you too. He was proud of you.
Yeah,
I know he had to be.
he
Yeah.
was. And you
Yeah.
know what? He came to my investiture at Miles, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think he cried the whole time. So his name was James Knight. James was more like he was a big brother, but he was also he stood in the gap for
Yes.
my father, and so he was more like a father figure, a brother, and a friend. And
Yeah.
he's probably the man I most admired, and still the man I most admire. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, he was
That's beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's beautiful, man. Yeah. I just hope my sister look up to me. she,
I'm sure she does.
she probably think I'm an idiot.
That's funny.
I have a twin. I have a twin sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
but we really close though.
Well,
But
who's
we
the
have our
oldest,
time.
you or her?
I'm the oldest by
You're
one
the
minute.
oldest. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe one day she'll have something good to say about
Yeah,
you.
one day. She was- Cause right now, boy, I had to put my hands over my kids' ears when she's talking to me. You know?
That's
She thinks
funny.
she's my mama. You know. Anyway, so now your experience. You went there. How was the overall experience for you at UA? If you could talk about that a little bit.
I can, yeah. So now remember, I went to Banks in 1970.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
spent all 4 of my years at a predominantly white high school where there were only a handful of us. And there were some challenges. There were some, racial
Yes,
issues.
ma'am.
They were still playing, what's that song they played at the pep rallies? Dixie.
Yeah, the Dixie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah,
Yeah.
And so a couple of times there were some fights that broke out in the pep rallies, and especially when they played that particular song. And so my actual first leadership role was I was selected to be on a race relations committee in
In
high
high
school.
school?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big task.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm not sure that we made any strides. We just, I think we just decided, we got to be here, and so
Yes.
we're going to do the best we can. But there was a very small number of us. I don't even remember the number. When I went to my 10th high school reunion, no, my 15th high school reunion, there were only 5 Black people that went to
Wow.
that, yeah, at the reunion. Now there were more in the class, but they didn't have, I don't know, I guess they just weren't interested in coming, but there were not that many more. There were just not that many of us. Well, it was almost the same at the University of Alabama. There was a small group that was there, and we were very close. We knew just about every Black person that was on the campus. That's just how it was, because the numbers were small. But I made some lifelong friends.
Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't take anything for that journey. I wouldn't choose if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same way
Yes,
because of
ma'am.
some of the meaningful friendships I made.
Yeah. And your journey is your journey, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you take
is.
from it, you learn from it, and you make the best of it. And it
Yeah.
sounds to me that you had a great experience. You know,
Well, I got involved. I got
Yes.
involved in a lot of things. I didn't
Like
sit on
what?
the sidelines. Well, I was a Bear girl.
Okay.
So, Bear Bryant was the head football coach at the time, and they don't even have him anymore, but I don't think, they probably call him something else. But
Oh, okay.
we would host recruits and their families when they would come to football games.
Yes, ma'am.
And we would take them on a tour of Bryant Hall, and take them to a luncheon, and they get to sit in Bear Bryant's chair. I have to tell you this story. I tell people this because I still can't believe I was this stupid. But I was in Bryant Hall one day, and Bear Bryant walked in, and he looks at me and he says, "Hello, Bobbie." And my mouth opened, but nothing came out, because I was like, he knew my name. Well, I had on a name tag. And so it was like, duh, he read your name. But it was, I really thought initially, I'm like, he knew my name. How did he know my name? But I think there were only 2 Black girls that were Bear girls anyway. So
he had to know your name, probably.
Yeah, he probably did.
He probably knew your name. It's like, hey, Bobbie, and whoever the other one was. He knew. I bet he knew your name. Yeah.
But I did have on a name tag.
That's funny though. That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah, I still feel stupid when I tell people that story, but
hey, but it's a funny story because you told it to me. It's funny.
But that was so. Let's see. I was a Bear girl. I told you I was in the speech choir. I worked on some political campaigns. I was actually one semester in Air Force ROTC. I thought I was going to go to the Air Force like my brother, but alas, it just wasn't for me. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, I think it was too structured and rigid.
Yeah, it is.
And I didn't like the uniform. So,
that's how I'm not doing this.
No. So, but I did a lot of things, and I had great friends. That's where I think I really developed my love of football. Was going to the University of Alabama.
I can see how that,
Hmm.
as it is today, it still is a football powerhouse,
And I still love it. I still watch Alabama every chance I get.
and rightfully so. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about this past season, but I miss Nick Saban, but we'll see how it
Yeah,
works out.
Nick, oh man, that's a whole nother topic there.
I
Yes,
know.
it is. You can tell that the brand of football at Alabama is not the Nick brand. I can just say that.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Mhm.
I mean, it's Stevie Wonder can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
So you graduated from Alabama,
Hmm.
and did you go straight to law school after that?
No, no, I went to work. I actually got a job working at Alabama Power Company,
Okay.
and I started there in August of '78. And I worked there for almost 38 years. But I went back to school. I couldn't decide if I was going to work on an MBA or go to law school. So I ended up going to law school at night, and I finished in 1985. I was
Okay.
actually the first African American female to graduate from the Birmingham School of Law, which is still so bizarre to me.
God,
But
say that
yeah,
one more time. That
yeah, I was the first African American female to graduate from the Birmingham School of Law in 1985. It's just crazy.
I'm giving some claps. God. And I don't even think I mentioned, and if I did, I'm sorry. If I didn't, I'm sorry, that you are the president of Miles College and you are the first female
Yeah.
to
In
hold that position.
126 years, I'm
Yeah,
the first female
126
president.
years.
And I hope
Of-
I'm not the last.
Well, you paving the way right now.
Mhm.
And I think it's up to us and the people. I'm not gonna get into this because I can say something that's you don't need to hear that. But anyway, yeah, I hope you're not the last either. So I'm gonna say that. I hope you're not the last either. So um but I had no idea that you was the first female, African American female to graduate from Birmingham Law School.
Birmingham School of Law. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Birmingham School of Law.
there was, I think there were two black males who graduated before me, but I was the first black female.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Hmm.
So
I tell people that they think it's bizarre. They don't believe it. I'm like, yeah, it's the truth.
man, so that experience, but you for lack of a better word, you were pretty much moonlighting during this time.
Yeah,
You were
I
holding
worked
down a
full
full
time.
time job and going to
Hmm.
law school.
Hmm. But you know what happened is my mom suggested that I had an apartment. I was living in an apartment, and I was living with my when I moved home from school, I moved in with my best friend from college. So
Yes,
we got
ma'am.
an apartment together. But my mom convinced me if I moved back in with her, that she could help take care of my needs, like my laundry, grocery shopping, all of that stuff, that would and would allow me the time to study so that I wasn't having to take care of a household. And it was really great advice. And so I did. I moved back in with my mother, and glad I did, and
Yeah.
finished in 2 years and 8 months, I think it was.
Oh, you finished in 2 years and 8 months.
Hmm. Yep.
Law school. It'll take me 3 years, 7 years and 8 months. Congratulations, Madam
Thank you.
President.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What area of law did you earn your degree in?
It was just general law.
General law. Okay.
And
Okay.
what's funny is I when I was in law school, I was actually offered a clerk's job with a judge. And when I realized how much they were going to pay me, I said, ugh, I don't know that I'm going to do this law thing, because I had already, my career was really on a trajectory that
It was taken off.
it was taking off.
Yeah.
And so honestly, it wouldn't have mattered if I had gotten a law degree or an MBA. I think either one, my trajectory would have been the same. And so I'm glad that I did it the way I did, but I realized that practicing law was not going to be for me because I was already making what I considered to be what they offered me. I was making like maybe 3 or 4 times more than what I was offered.
Man, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but
I'm
remember,
sorry.
it was mid '80s,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
it was the salaries weren't the same. I'm sure they make more now, a lot more, but I could not take the risk because it was just me.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. You did. You had to look out for you and what's best for you at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Is weighing your options basically.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So I agree. So now we're Alabama Power.
Yeah.
You here now, Alabama Power.
Hmm.
So you were there, during, like I said, during the time. Um, that experience there was because you held many positions there.
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
and I had a great career. I mean, an absolutely phenomenal career. But what I'm most proud of is the people that I was able to mentor and bring up behind me, and especially African Americans and women.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm real proud of that. And but
That's
yeah,
something to be proud of.
I actually. So I'll tell you what my last 3 jobs were. My last 3 positions were I was general manager of supply chain. And if, if you know anything about supply chain in a utility, it's not buying paper clips and Xerox paper. It's buying and moving wire for the pole line hardware wires, um,
Man.
all of the stuff that goes into a generating plant, with the exception of fuel. And at the time, it was a lot of coal, but they don't do so much of that anymore. But it was big stuff.
Yes,
So
ma'am. It wasn't gym clips and
it wasn't
paper
gym
clips
clips
and
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And so what we had to do was we had to negotiate contracts with suppliers, and a lot of those contracts, we used lawyers. We had to read the contracts. We had lawyers on the staff and some in the law firm that supported us to read those contracts and negotiate those contracts. So, the law degree did come in
Yeah, I was gonna
handy.
ask you. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that law degree that you attained did help a little bit.
it did help a little bit. And then I did that for some years, and then my job after that was they asked me to be the vice president of public relations, and I was in that position for 7 years.
Mm,
That was really interesting to me because I started out in communications and ended up almost in the field, my field of choice. And so I was really, that lasted for 7 years. I was able to make some strides there. Really, really proud of what we did during that time. And then my last position was the vice president of the Birmingham division, which is the largest division at Alabama Power Company. And we had responsibility for, I tell people we sent them their power, we took their money for it, and if they didn't pay, we might cut them off. I don't think they do that. Unfortunately, that's what it is. But we also were responsible for the governmental relations in the division and community relations in the division. So it was a big job,
mm.
and very proud of the work we did. One of the main things that I remember from being in that role was when those big tornadoes came through, from Mississippi through Alabama and on into Georgia, and tore down a lot of our infrastructure, but did devastation in areas like Pratt City. And so
I think it
getting
was
the
in the area.
power back on.
that was in the early 2000s, I
Yeah,
believe.
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
It was, and it was devastating. And so, to know that we had employees whose homes were destroyed, but they were out there working, trying to get people some sense
man.
of normalcy back. And it was heartwarming to see my employees who we knew had to go out and string wire and put poles in the ground where they had all been torn down, and knowing that they had things back at home
Yes,
that they needed to do. So those of us who were not those employees who were not did not have jobs to string wire or hang or put poles in the ground or do any of that stuff actually went and helped those employees who were doing it. So they would go to their homes and clean up debris and clean their yards and take groceries or
yeah,
whatever they needed to do. We did that.
yeah. Those are the real patriots, man. I
They
tell you,
are. They are.
God, just giving selfless, just selfless individuals,
Yeah.
and dedicated to the work, getting the work done, helping somebody else. In the meantime, their whole life is upside down.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
So I
give.
my hat always goes out to them even now,
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
because when something happens, if the power company in there, I don't care where you live, whether it's Alabama, Florida, Georgia,
Yes, ma'am.
wherever the tornadoes are active or hurricanes, you know that our folks are going to be on the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Wow. So I guess to say that, anyway, that was going to be another one of my questions. I think you summed that up, though. What you like most about the job, and we can honestly say that, the help,
Yeah.
the unity, the coming together,
Yeah.
working for a
And
common cause.
understanding what your calling is.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
Lyman used to say that it isn't a job, it's a calling.
Hmm.
And I know that it's true, because to be out there working when it's freezing cold, or in rain, or when it's really really hot, scorching hot, they're out there, they're
Yes,
doing
ma'am.
what they have to do, and I think they're heroes for
They
doing that.
are. I
Yeah.
think see, I think sometimes we when we don't talk about certain things like this, and we become kind of, well, I won't even say numb because we just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But when you talk about these kind of things, it really just it really it shows the dedication. It just shows the hard work that these people go through, and it just make it more real because
Yeah.
we don't really we just we sometimes we can be some very selfish individuals. You know,
Yes,
we just thinking about us and how we can get our lights on and how we
exactly.
can take a warm bath and lay
Hmm.
in, and if it's cold, have a warm house. But these same very people that are helping us maintain these things that we want, some of these people are struggling getting these things too when
Hmm.
a hurricane, a natural disaster come.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true.
So man, that's powerful. I'm glad you mentioned that because we don't talk about it. We just be senseless and numb about it.
I know.
Really, really. We're like,
But
man,
because it's traumatic, it's traumatic, and a traumatic experience for us. But imagine what it is for them, especially, these folks are our neighbors,
yes,
and church members, and they have families too. So, but they know what their mission is, and they know what their calling is, and they're out there doing it.
absolutely. Now we moving right along because you at Miles College, not a president, first female president, right now, right now. Um, the 15th, right?
15th, yes.
First female
Hmm.
president. How that feel? I mean, what that feel like? I mean, like, I'm just asking.
um, so what does it feel like?
Oh, well, or how that makes you feel then.
So I didn't really know if I could do it, or if I should do it. I had to really think hard about it and pray about it and talked to my husband about it because I knew it would be different was going to be different than anything I'd ever done. Um, but I was on the board I went on the board in 2017 at Miles as a
Oh,
trustee.
okay.
And
See,
so I had been on the board.
I didn't know this, and some of my
Yeah.
listeners didn't know this. Go ahead.
Yeah. I served on the board of trustees for 2 years. And then the board chair, when George took the position at Clark Atlanta, the board chair asked me to go to lunch. And I thought she was just gonna, wanted to have lunch and talk about the search for president or something like that, and she asked me to
She
be interim
was. She
president.
did. She did.
Yeah. And I truly thought she was joking. I I
Really?
really I said, you know what, she's kidding with me. She's just joking around. And she said, no, I'm serious. So and I thought about it and I said, maybe there's a skill set that I have that I can bring to the institution. It's different. Obviously, I'm not a minister. All of their prior presidents had been ministers. I'm not a man,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yes.
I'm not even a CME. I'm a Baptist. And so I didn't fit any,
You didn't check
I
no
was
boxes.
so outside of the box.
You ain't checking hardly any of the boxes.
No, I didn't check any of them. And I think a lot of people still resent that. That a lot of folks don't like the fact that I'm the president of Miles, but 5 years in, going into 6 year. Is it 6 year? Going into 6 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going into the 6th year.
I don't even dwell on that because I know why I'm there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I look at those young people when they come to that campus and they bring so much energy and joy. And all I want to do, I fell in love. I mean, I just fell in love with them, and my whole purpose for being there is to support them. And when they walk across that stage, and get that degree and shake my hand, I am so incredibly proud of them. I've had students tell me I was like the only mother they ever had. I said, honey, you have a mother. So I don't know why they tell me that, but I do tend to mother them.
Yeah.
Um, People
Well,
know when you are genuine,
yes, ma'am.
and they know genuinely that I love and care about them, and I want them to be successful. Just like I'm so proud of you. It's when they told me I was going to be on a podcast and you had all of these followers and you were a Milean, it's like, wow, that's awesome. Yes, I would love to do that because it gives me a sense of pride that for the young people that have come through since 2019, since I
Yes, ma'am.
started, seeing them move on to better things, bigger and better things, it just makes me feel really good. They're my why.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how does it make me feel being president? It makes me feel proud of them to see what they can and will achieve. I am extraordinarily proud.
Yes, ma'am. That's awesome. And to speak on the young lady or the kids that see you as a mother figure,
Hmm.
a lot of them probably come from situations where, and
They do.
I'm preaching to the choir now, but,
Yeah.
and seeing someone like you, for lack of a better word, in a position
Hmm.
um, that they probably one day see themselves, you give them hope. You give them
I
hope.
hope so.
You give them
I
hope.
hope
Yes.
that they see what they can aspire to.
Yes,
And,
ma'am.
one of the reasons we bring in a lot of speakers, we need to bring you in to talk with our students, or you can talk with them virtually if you want to.
Yes, ma'am.
I like them to see their reflection in people that are doing great things.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it doesn't have to be people that just went to Miles. We bring a lot of folks to the campus because I want to expose them to something they may not have, and people they may not have seen.
Definitely.
I just
Yeah.
want them to see who they can be, what they can be, and aspire to. So that's the that's the that's the joy I get
Yes,
out of
ma'am.
being there at Miles College.
Yes, ma'am. And speaking, you have when I see you out, and
Mhm.
I've been in a situation where I was close or in the same area as you,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to, like invade your space. But most of the time when I see you, it's an entourage of students hanging around you. Um,
They're so sweet. Yeah,
yeah,
they're.
you
I
have
hug
your
them.
own
I
personal
love on them.
bodyguards.
I love on them. I hug them. I eat in the calf with them. I don't. I don't. I never wanted to be unapproachable or untouchable. I
Yes, ma'am.
want them to be able to touch and see me and feel like I and know how much I care about them. Does
Yes,
that make
ma'am.
sense?
That makes a whole lot of sense. I think I love that approach. I love that approach. Yeah, I love it. Being a person, a real person.
Oh
To
yeah, they'll take somebody out over me.
yeah, I know, and I'm like, if I want to say something, I probably won't be able to get close to her because she has some bodyguards,
Yeah,
and I like it. And I see you online. When I see you online, you got kids around you then. So yeah,
it's really
they love
nice.
Madam Bobbie Knight. They love you.
Yeah, and I have some that call me Auntie President, and I pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated
Ooh,
last year, and so my sorors at the college, a couple of them now call me soror Auntie Soror President or whatever. They like string them all together, but it's really
oh
cute. I
man,
love it.
that's hilarious. So
Uh-huh.
you recently pledged Alpha Kappa.
Yes, last
Okay,
year.
okay. Oh man, round of applause. Yeah. Eh,
I
ye-
waited to be 68 years old to pledge, which is so crazy, but I'm glad I did it.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
But the only thing that I'm mad about, there's other sororities out there. You it's a blue and white one out there.
Well, the AKAs came to me, so they asked me, and nobody else did.
Zetas, let me tell you
Nobody,
something.
nobody asked me.
How can you not ask Madam Auntie President to what's wrong with y'all, man? God.
But you know what? I don't think people. I think people assumed I was Greek.
Oh, you know
I
what?
think that. Hmm.
They probably did. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they
yeah.
assumed it. So maybe that's the reason.
Man, I wish I would have had you on the show before. But anyway, we would have got you then. Boy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm
Well,
still a part of the Divine Nine.
yes,
That's all
ma'am, you
that
are,
counts.
and we would take you being a part of the Divine Nine.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
taking you. Yeah. Um. So it was a question I had.
About Miles?
Yeah, it was about Miles, man. God dog it. All right, let me just move on. We'll come back, but we still on
Okay.
Miles. We're not going in that. We're gonna stay here
Okay.
for a couple more minutes. I'm not gonna hold you that much longer.
Okay.
Um, the football program.
Yeah.
We coming into the fall,
Yes.
and Sam Shade is gone, and we got Chris Gould, which I had him on this platform. Well, no, we had
Oh,
him on
did
another
you?
platform. We had him on. So I do a high school podcast and a
Uh-huh.
sports podcast with one of my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, so and we were able to have him on that platform.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So since he's been at Miles or
Yes, this
before?
has been in Miles. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Great.
Yes, yeah, we had him
Thank you
on.
for that.
Yes, ma'am. No doubt. And oh man, we had so much fun with him. He's a great guy. Very very passionate about football.
Hmm.
Has a good understanding about the X's and O's,
Yeah.
and just real. Not nothing against Sam because I knew him too, but I think he's a great replacement. That's
Yeah.
for yeah.
I'm getting to know Coach Good. I did not. Obviously, I knew who he was
Yes,
because he
ma'am.
played at Alabama, and I followed Alabama. Same with Shade. I really didn't have a relationship with either one of them. But my husband played in the NFL, so when he moved here to marry me, he became a part of the um, NFL Players Association
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
And so he knew those guys. I didn't know them well, but I knew of them and knew the great things they had done in their careers and in college and in the NFL. So I followed both of them. As in fact, I followed the whole Good family, all the guys that went to Alabama. But I think he's a gentleman. And I think he's going to be, he's a great leader of young men. And I think he's going to be great for the program. I love Sam. I told him that whenever we have a bye week, I'm going to try my best to get up to A&M and watch a game.
Yeah.
And yeah, because we became friends with him coaching there. And I was very proud of what he did with our program in three
Yes, ma'am.
years. He had a 3-year contract and his goal was to go to Division 1. And I was so happy when it happened for him, proud for him. And I think he's going to do great. He's going to do well.
Yeah.
I don't know this, but he may be like a X's and O's savant or something. I don't know, but he's, that first year he came, he really didn't have a chance to recruit.
Yes, ma'am.
But he built, that's what you do when you rebuild a team. That's why I'm still giving the Alabama coach some. I'm
giving him some grace. You're giving
I'm
him
giving
grace.
him a little grace because
Yeah.
you have to rebuild a program.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so that's where we are now with football. But we're also in the same place with men and women's basketball because so many of our basketball players graduated.
Yes, ma'am.
And especially our women's basketball team who were back-to-back
Yes, ma'am.
FAC champions.
Yes, ma'am.
They were amazing.
Yes, they were.
They're incredible, but so many of them graduated. So we're in a rebuild there as well as basketball. I think we're pretty good in our other sports. Our golf program is, we're killing it in golf. I don't know if you've had Coach Smoot on. At some point you need to have him on your show because what he does with our golf program. We've got one of our players is from Canada, and he was the Canadian champion in I guess in high school when Coach Smoot recruited him. So to see them come to Little Miles College,
man,
it's really good that they have faith in him and in our program.
Yes, that's awesome. From Canada.
Yeah.
It's safe to say that we're doing some things, Dan. We're doing something. We're turning some heads, Madam President.
Oh, yeah. They played in Japan last year. They were the only HBCU to go to Japan.
I did not know that.
I'm getting hot now. So I'm going to have to I'm going to turn my air down in my house. I'm doing it on my phone.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Most of us have to get up and walk to the thermostat. Some of us can do it on the phone.
They have apps for that. There's an app for everything.
They got an app for that, guys. Y'all listening? They got an app. You don't have to get up. Just sit down in the comforts of your own home. Go to your app and turn your AC up or down. That's a commercial. That is a commercial, right? So, what about that marching band that y'all have, though?
Man, what you talking about? Yeah, Professor Snipes, he's incredible.
Yes, he is.
What did we win? We won Band of the Year.
Yeah, Alabama. Y'all won the
ESPN Band of the Year for Division II school.
Yeah. I was going to ask you this, but first of all, let me play this for. Let me play this quick clip here.
Mm-hmm.
Give it up for the Purple Marching Machine! And that's Oh My Mama.
That was
They have,
amazing.
yeah. Hey man, Miles has a awesome band, Purple March Machine. Do you think that we get the credit that we deserve when we face off against the D1 schools like Alabama State, Alabama A&M? You know,
I don't think we get it, but let me tell you, we were in a band competition in Houston last year,
yes, ma'am.
and Miles' band was sitting in the stands, and they started playing. What's the name of that song? Uh, Everybody started singing it. Even the little kids were singing it, and it's by this white guy with the tats all over and
Uh,
the beard, and
I'm
it's
gonna
a
call
really
his name
popular
anyway.
song. I can't
Post
think of the
Malone.
name.
By Post Malone. Is it
No,
Post Malone?
it's not Post Malone.
Um,
You know what? Maya would know. I wish she was on here, but anyway,
okay.
I can't. Anyway,
Yeah, don't worry about it.
the stands went crazy when Miles started playing this song, and nobody else had played it.
Right.
I cannot think of the name of it, but anyway, they're great. They're amazing.
Yeah. They had Boosie in
Little
the stand. Little Boosie.
Boosie, little Boosie. I didn't look. Let me tell you something. I hate to even admit this. They told me the SGA said, "Madam President, we want Boosie for homecoming."
Right.
I said, "Oh, my husband knows Bootsy Collins very well." They said, "No, ma'am, Madam President, not Bootsy Collins, Lil Boosie." That was another one of my duh moments. Oh, Teddy Swims, that's his name. I
Okay.
can't think. Lose Control. So
Okay.
you know that song, Lose
Yeah,
Control.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Miles College played that, and the crowd
They
went
went
crazy.
crazy.
Everybody was singing it all over the place, and we did a really good job with it. But yeah, they didn't want Boosie Collins; they wanted Luke Boosie.
God.
I know.
Oh man.
I can't keep up. I
Yeah,
can't keep
no.
up. I'm old school.
Hey, I can see me saying the same thing, but that's funny. Yeah, yeah. So, but your husband know Boosie Collins though.
He
That's
does.
crazy.
Yeah, Bootsy Collins has been to our home.
Oh man, in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna whisper this to you. Don't tell nobody. The
Uh-huh.
next time he come, call me.
Okay. He and his wife Patty, they've been to our house. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. So, you know,
Well,
y'all say that.
so Gary's from Cincinnati,
Okay.
and Bootsy's from Cincinnati. I think. I think that's the connection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boosie Collins.
Mm-hmm.
That's my oldest brother' favorite artist.
Are
Yeah.
you kidding?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah, that's real
I
old
just
school.
I just want to take a picture with him, like, hey, see this boy?
Maybe we'll see if we can get him to the campus, but
Yeah.
I don't think the students, they would probably think it was little Boosie again. But
So that's funny. Now, as alumni, what is like some of the things that, in order to see Miles progress or continue to progress in a way that you want it in your vision, what is it that you think that alumni can do to help with that process?
so that's a really good question. I think if anybody asks me what can they do to help move the needle for Miles College, I think it is supporting our students with scholarships and helping them complete their education. I don't I don't ask people to give money to Miles College. I ask them to support our students, and the reason for that is if they can graduate, if they're having trouble finishing, but if they can graduate in 4 years and go out and find a really good position that helps them continue their life the way they want it to be, then I want to help them do that. And that's what I would like our alums to do, is support our students to help them get through. It's one thing to start college, but you have to get through and finish. And getting through and finishing is hard for some of our kids. Many come from backgrounds where they just don't have a lot of financial support.
Or even
And
support period. Now I'm just gonna be real.
true,
You
yeah.
need some support period.
Yeah. So helping them go to and get through and finish college is a priority for me, and I'd like for that to be a priority for our alums, even if it's just one that you do it for, but you did it for that one. um, I have there's one student that I pay his tuition and every year,
Yes, ma'am.
and I have he's actually in the band, but I do more. I help a lot of
Yes,
students, but
ma'am. Yes,
but
ma'am.
this one, I want to make sure he gets to the end.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so I made a commitment that that's what I was going to do. Is I'm going to personally make sure students get to the end.
Yes, ma'am. So you in a sense, you're not what you asking or what you wish or what you want would like to see. You're doing that for somebody. So you're
Mhm.
not asking people to do anything that you wouldn't do, basically.
Yes,
Yeah. So
that
and I
that
asked that question because that was a question that when we sit back and we talk about the state of certain situations or the state of the school, or
mhm.
we can be we can be very critical of things, and, and meanwhile, while we so critical, some of us sitting on our hands, doing nothing. So, and I'm encouraging the people that are listening and the people that's gonna go back and listen when they see this portion of the segment, this portion of the show, that they, you know, can resonate with them in some type of way.
I hope it does. I
Yeah.
really do. And somebody helped me. And it may not have been financial, it may have been in other ways, but I think we owe it. We owe it to give back. So um, I just want to see our students be successful. And if our alums can help that, and many of them do, I don't want it to sound like they don't,
Yeah,
because
yes, ma'am.
many of them do. And Miles is good. We're in a good place. We've been here 126 years, going on, I guess, into our 127th now, and we're going to be here. My job is to make sure we're here another 126 years.
Man, that would be a great thing. That would
Hmm.
be a great thing. Um, and these season passes are out too for the football. I was going to say that, and I
They
lost. I
are.
think that's one of the things that I was going to say. The
Hmm.
season passes are out there, and I think they're pretty reasonable to see the season
I
ticket
think
pass.
they are. And
Yeah.
and you know what's exciting that hasn't happened before is that we have some of the alums from the University of Alabama are buying a whole bunch of tickets to come to an Alabama game to support Coach Good. So we're really excited about that.
Oh,
Yeah. And this is the first time this has happened, but they reached out to us and said they wanted to do whatever their bye week is, whatever Alabama's bye week is. They're buying tickets. I think it's when we play. Is it Savannah State or
okay.
uh, I think that's it, but I'm not sure. So
Interesting.
buy tickets. Yeah, that's hey, we're all for it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're here for it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We're
And
for
and those tickets, I mean, if you will, they're $90. You get four games, and Tuskegee is included in that package.
it.
You know that's a big deal because
That's a
we,
big deal.
yeah, we want to beat them. I don't care if we got 11 players and they got four. We want to beat them still.
We always want to beat Tuskegee.
Yeah, we want to beat 'em. And I don't care if they got 3 players and we got 23 players. we we gonna beat them, all three of them.
I want to beat them every year.
Yes, ma'am.
And I
And,
want to be able to say to Coach Ruffin,
yeah, yeah,
we
Coach
beat
Ruffin,
Tuskegee. I don't care if we don't beat anybody else.
we beat
We
Coach
beat
Ruffin.
Tuskegee.
Yes, sir. Coach Ruffin, we love you, but we want to beat you.
We love Coach Ruffin.
We want to beat
I
you every
talk to
chance
him
we
all
get.
the time. Love him, but
Yeah.
want to beat him.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, let's Yeah, let's transition on into some fun facts. Fun fact question. I'm gonna let you go. I don't
Okay.
want to hold you too much longer. This is a portion of the show where I ask some fast questions and we get through it, and you say, "Hey, you officially now a Mike Steele graduate.
Okay.
You're a friend of my show. We family now.
Okay.
We family. We family anyway, but we family. So,
I'm ready.
what is when you're not working? What is your favorite thing to do when you're not working?
I said
like,
I was ready, but
she like, I'm working when I'm not working.
I work all the time. I'm going to say spend time with my husband.
Okay. Mr. Gary.
Yes.
Okay.
Gary Burley.
Okay, Gary Burley. And he played NFL. Okay. Yeah, okay. Mr. Gary, hey, invite me over. I like steaks. I'll bring you steaks too though. All right. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
I would build, my superpower would be to build an amazing campus for our students. Take it to a whole nother level so that they can experience what large PWIs and Division I schools experience. That's what I would do. If I had, that would be my one superpower.
You're gonna make me transition to something else. I'm stay focused,
Okay.
Mike. I'm gonna ask this one question before I leave though. What is what is the hidden talent that you possess? Do you have a hidden talent?
Do I have a hidden talent?
You play softball. You're a softball.
No, that's not. I wasn't really talented.
I know. I'm just...
My hidden talent. I don't know. Well, I'm a very good writer. Well, that's not hidden talent though.
But let's say that's a talent though.
It is a talent.
It's a talent, and really that you kind of foster that talent through high school, reading, writing, and yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna take that.
Okay.
What is a pet peeve that you have?
Oh, I have so many.
Name one.
I hate for people to be late.
If you ain't early, you what?
Late.
If you ain't early, you're late, man. That is the motto.
Mm-hmm.
That's the president's motto.
That's it.
If you ain't early, you're late. I'm gonna take that one. Hey, I stole that one from you.
Okay. I stole it from somebody else. So,
well, you have any regrets?
I have no regrets and no complaints. God has been so good to me, and to me and my husband and my family.
Yes, ma'am.
And I regret nothing at this point in my life. It's been a great ride, and
Yes,
if it ended tomorrow, I will have had the best ride anybody could say they could have. It's been great. I have enjoyed life, and I enjoy it still right now.
With that being said, when it's all said and done, that's a perfect transition. When it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for at Miles?
I want to be remembered for changing the landscape, and not the physical landscape, but changing how Miles College sees itself or saw itself, and seeing ourselves as being a major competitor. The achievements we've made at Miles are things that a lot of people just gloss over, but they're very, very impactful. And I'll just say this. I know we're getting ready to close, but we're in negotiations right now with brokering an MOU with one of the largest corporations in the world, if not the largest. and it'll be so impactful, because when I showed you this app on my phone and how I change my heating or my air conditioning, this is what I want our students focusing on, is technology
Yes, ma'am.
and being in the AI space and
Yes, ma'am.
creating, being the creators of these things, making this world move, making things happen for people. That's what I want to be remembered for, is that we put the opportunity in our students' hands to change lives. And they
Yes, ma'am.
can, because this is a life changer.
Yes,
Being
ma'am.
able to do that, the things we can do here.
I appreciate that vision you have. I appreciate that. And
Thank
I
you.
also want to say this to you, man. Thank you for being a real, genuine person.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a change agent. Man, every time I've have encounters with people and I hear their stories and I learn more about them, and it keeps me going. Really, it does. It
Yeah.
makes me want to do. It make me want to do more, and it also make me want to become a better person.
Yeah.
So every day I strive to be that person. You know, and
That's
if you
great.
knew my background, you would probably say, "Wow," because we were talking a moment ago, and I remember when I said lack of support. Sometimes we have no support.
Right.
Sometimes God has His hands on us and put
Hmm.
us in situations where we can succeed with the right amount of help.
Right.
You know, my grandmother sent me off to school with nothing,
Yeah.
nothing but me having a desire to be different than
Wow.
someone else.
But she sent you.
Yeah, she sent me. Yeah,
Hmm.
and she supported me the best she could,
Yeah. Yeah.
but with nothing though. But this is the reason why I do this.
Yeah. That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Very proud of you.
Well, thank you, and I'm proud of you too.
Thanks.
And you keep on doing what you're doing, and
We're going to
it,
do
it
it.
takes us, it takes all of us to make a vision come to light. Basically,
True.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Y'all give it up, man. We've been talking for a while now. Y'all give it up for President Knight, Madam President Knight, Miles College, 15th president, female president, the first.
Auntie Sora president.
Uh, uh,
Auntie Sora president.
Auntie Sora president. Y'all give it up, man. Another warm round of applause. It's been great. Y'all give applause. I know we didn't talk about the master's program, but hey, we'll get
We'll
around
just
to
have to talk about it later.
next time. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that being said, I will be in touch. I will email you, and when I'm done with the bells and whistles and I post this up on my other platform, I'll let you know when it drop. Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much,
All right.
Madam President. All right, guys, man. It has been a pleasure talking to the president of Miles College. Golly, man, I tell you. Y'all drop something in the inbox. If anybody that you want me to speak with, I have another guest coming on next week. You're not going to want to miss this guest. It's going to be crazy, stupid, fun, but it's going to be real talk with Mike Steele as usual. Hey, y'all stay connected to me. Go like and share my page. Connect with me on social media. Real Talk with Mike Steele on Instagram. Real Talk with Mike Steele on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I'm all over the place. Y'all connect with me. And I appreciate you guys for stopping in and listening tonight. Make sure you check me out next Tuesday. I have a treat. I'm not going to say it. Just stay tuned. Look for the artwork to drop. And thank y'all, man. It's Real Talk with Mike Steele. I'm out.